G'day, today's the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, so I'm doing a video update. As you can see, since our last update 3 months ago, it still hasn't really rained much. The dam is very low. The only thing that's getting us through is using this IBC and another one behind it, sitting here on the dam wall. They receive water from our bore, which is giving us about 450 litres a day, and that means every 4 days I can water the trees in here in this food forest from one of the RBCs, and I alternate that with using that pump connected to this RBC to push water up that way and to water a whole lot of gardens and food forests up that way. And that's just kept some of the trees and plants going. I have spent a lot of the time in the last 3 months tidying the place up, so getting rid of the trash, getting rid of bits of plastic, so that we could take some photos to put the property on the market. So we're going to try and sell it. I also fixed up the van that we used to have here and sold the van, so that gave me a bit of cash. This is pretty much all the resource that we've got left now after I've done all the tidy up. And there's not so much growing in the greenhouse anymore. There's a little bit of food left in there that I water. Probably I use 20 to 30 litres only now and there. Most of it's fallow. I moved all the plants that were in there outside, planted them out, or put them in this little constructed little shady area. So there's a couple shelves in there with seed starts and with cuttings and plants. So the cucurbits that we planted on the edges of this pond that we lined, they're growing. They need quite a bit of water, but they are starting to grow and spread out. So some of them are heading along the poles. We also put an IBC over here that we can fill up either from the bore water or from that tank over there when that tank gets full, and then that water comes down to our circles. We've still got quite a bit of food growing in the circles, and like I am still trying to grow more. So like I've dug a trench around this one and planted tomatoes and basil, and I put drippers on it so that I could just connect the pipe coming from that IBC or from the bore into that tap there, and then just put some drippers on there for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, just to conserve the water. And while Evita's away, I can't eat that much from the gardens here, but I do feed some of the brassicas to the ducks every day and to the goats as well. Last video 3 months ago I showed you that I had built this wall, and I just extended it a little bit here where there was a bit that hadn't been done, and everything's been growing pretty well on there. I've been eating quite a bit of silver beet and brassicas from there, cauliflower and stuff like that, and there's zucchini coming, and I've got some sweet potato growing as well. We're continuing to water not from the shower anymore, because no shower outside, but I use water from the washing up. And I've also got one row over here of tomatoes growing that is using the dripper from the tank that's up there by the chicken house. So my strategy when it's been very dry is just to water very select gardens and just try and grow a little bit of food in those areas only. There's another example on the terraces where I've just got some drippers here along the little trellises and a little bit just behind that. So I'm growing tomato and basil on the trellis, and then cucurbits and watermelon on the other two areas. And again, that's just coming from some barrels over here. So I found that there's quite a bit of water coming off that roof from the goat house, and these, I don't use that water very much, so I've just designated that to water these little gardens. We got quite a bit of the terraces done when we had 4 helpers last time, so Still a little bit of hole there, but I'm slowly filling it up with coffee and sawdust and char. And I will probably end up just digging this terrace and moving the soil that way to fill it up. So lowering the whole terrace down a little bit, and just so that it gets flattened off. And yeah, it's actually, we got a lot done. And yeah, the terrace project probably 3/4 done now, which is good. So I also redid this little garden here. It had hay bales around the outside and they had pretty much half decayed, so I redid that. And here's one more example of a little micro bed that I did, so that water's coming from those barrels off that little shed. And then I'm just growing some corn at each dripper it's pretty much in between all the perennials that are there. So I'll show you the plantings that we did by the cob bench. So there's that grapevine that's heading up there, and a few other there's oregano and goji and basil and kangaroo paw. And on the cob bench we planted a whole lot of different things. There's lavender, basil, nasturtium, rosemary, this is kiwi fruit, more of the kangaroo paw, oregano, aloe. So like usual, a polyculture, a mix. Some stuff that's going to give us some colour, some food, and then stuff that will also grow up the trellises and give us shade. That needs water every 2 days, and I just water by watering can from this IBC that's collecting the water off that roof. And I've got some beans growing on a little trellis over here. Still some more brassicas down there. And we have some very sad news that our beautiful cat got sick and died. So he's buried under this massive big rock, and it says Jag on the rock. And yeah, we're devastated. I am, especially because I'm here by myself without a feeder. And usually he's my companion and I hang out with him a lot, but not having him here is making it really, really difficult.